everyone to a later session of the Arts and Literature Festival, the first day, the 5th edition. This is another conversation in a series we're going to be hosting on journeys. And here we have a most fascinating panel who are going to be exploring the theme of parallel journeys. Now, many of us who are writers do have that, but here I think you have individuals who really exemplify the idea of balancing acts. On the end you have one of India's finest novelists, Kavery Nambisan, who's also Dr. Kavery Nambisan, works as a surgeon in rural Kurd. We have Mr. Sanjay Kumar, who also runs one of India's top galleries. Or I think there are two branches, are they not? At the same time. Then you have, I think, the extraordinarily multifaceted Mr. Abhay K, who seems to be excel in every possible area of artistic endeavor, but he is also at the same time a leading diplomat and a government employee at some level. And you have Mr. Mustansir Dalvi, who is himself has an extraordinary faceted output. He is a translator, an extraordinarily good translator. He's also a very good poet, and he is also a professor of architecture. Balancing acts in a way. What is it, a balancing act? Yesterday when I met Mr. Sanjay Kumar for the first time over dinner, I asked him, did you come for the absolutely lovely inaugural ceremony? He said, no, I couldn't. There's an auction at the same time. And this, in a way, is what balancing acts is all about. I'm going to now pass the mic to Mustansir. Do you have a mic there, Mustansir? Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek, and thank you, Kavery, Abhay, Sanjay, Kumar. It's a pleasure to be here. Personally, this is my first time here, and I'm still learning the ropes about what the GALF is all about. I'm happy to kind of moderate this session about authors, poets, translators who have distinct other lives in the sense that they are not full-time into the creative process that has actually brought them here. And I thought we could do a little bit about discussing how these different acts are balanced. But nevertheless, since this is primarily a literary festival, I would request each of our panelists to do a little reading first, so that you can get a flavor of their writings, whether it is in whether poetry or novels. So maybe we could directly start with you coming.
I'm going to read just the beginning of this novel, the most recent one, which is called A Town Like Ours. It is set in a small place in Karnataka, which used to be a village, and it has over the years changed into a town. And this is what is happening everywhere in India, where villages are transformed into towns, and it happens without us even noticing. And there are lots of good things that come along, like computers and hairdressers and everything else, the good stuff, better roads perhaps. But there is a lot of destruction of the social fabric and much else. This story is set in a place like that. That's why it's a town like ours. And then the story is being told by a woman who was a prostitute. She's an aging prostitute, and she lives on the temple premises. In a little room, and through a cubbyhole window, she's observing the world. And she's got lots of friends, obviously, mostly male, but also others. And they come to talk to her, and she knows what's happening everywhere. And it's really the whole story is about 4 main characters. But I'm just going to read to you the beginning. Cross the road as soon as you get off at the main bus station, and it being 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon, have tea and a mapla biscuit at Balance Unti Angadi. Loiter briefly beneath the neem tree for a smoke, and for relief from a certain internal distress, go behind the aged wall. We have miles and miles of such uncomplaining barriers of brick and mortar, and where would men be without them? Ask not why a wall is built and then left to crumble over the years. Ask only that you be permitted to stand facing it with your elbows loosely flexed, your index finger and thumb doing the one manly duty learned early in childhood, which is to direct your literary arc at a specific spot. There is no such expedient for women. They cope by avoiding fluid nourishment until within shouting distance of home. Etched on this particular wall in black charcoal are advertisements for gas-reducing tablets and English tutorials. Make note, you might need either or both.
The book that I'm going to read from is called Virgin Gingerly. Gingerly is an oil that is used by Tamil Brahmins for a whole lot of things. Marinate gunpowder, anoint their head, maybe use it to crisp appalams as well. In this, a writer somewhat like me and his wife, this is an interaction between the two of them. She is South Indian. And in a particular Sufi state, the writer designs and builds a house on her property. And so this is a description that starts from there. It had no elusive quality other than taste. You could have done much better, Kumar, berated Sanjay. Even a cliched parochial place would have worked. A house that said, staying put here in this structure is Mr. Kumar, Baniya of species, sitting on palang, one leg folded and one leg up, chewing rupaiya and spitting image of his forefather, who roamed the street with foodstuffs and tilak on his head, and one hand in the till, trying and also trying, it seems, to flee far from his forebears, who tilled land, ate the meager crop, and forgot to pay the moneylenders. It was quite a speech. Apna ghar, we say in Uttar Pradesh. Ghar jo bas gaya, never. Number 24 was a place that never settled. I have a scar on my face to prove it. My floor has lard, fat, makhan, churned from a pot, stuff that grows in udders, a milky way that takes away your sure step and makes a mockery of your time on earth. Lard is the food for Gharjamais. Think of me as an interloper in this place. A Gharjamai, yes, called a Vitamapule locally. There is no better way to say it, for the connotation is cultural, and the ignominy of staying in a place owned by your wife is best conveyed with an Indian tongue. Kumar the Gharjamai is a loose appendage that hangs by a petticoat thread, a kacha dhaga. This thought buggers me often, and it lurks in everything that Sandhya says, in her look, in her implied tone. I am a lesser man somehow on my 2 feet. I should have walked away.
I would like to read a poem from my latest collection of poems called The Seduction of Delhi, which encapsulates Delhi's seduction for power and so on. And one of the poems is called Rag Pickers, also one of widely seen creatures in Delhi's streets. Rag pickers. Our faces smudged with charcoal, our clothes saggy and torn, our days lost amidst heaps of garbage, searching for nirvana in discarded tin cans.
I would like to just follow up with you, and since you say that you first write at a very cut level, how much of your time is actually spent on editing because it seems to me that the book is taking shape through the edit rather than through what you must be writing as the first draft.
Because the first draft, of course, goes completely, it changes so much as you write, as I read the others, but there is something there which is still, the original draft, and it takes a lot of editing. I go through a lot of drafts, but after the first draft, I always work on the computer. Yeah, and that in a way speeds things up. And the other thing I want to say about fiction writing, I don't know, it might be true to many of us, is that dreams play a big role. Because when you're writing the novel and your dreaming world, you get ideas and you sometimes have scenes. I mean, I wake up with a scene in my head, and those are the good ones. So it's not credit to me, but somebody else.
More than dreams, nightmares play a role sometimes. Occasionally I wake up in the middle of the night and say, Sanjay, where is your plot? There is no plot. Please come up with some thread which connects what you've written.
Since we have so many writers in the audience also, I would just for my own sake ask you, how many of you still write longhand?
I do. 1, 2.
2 of us.
Thank you so much, Mustansir, Abhay,
Thanks a lot.
Sanjay.